Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yesha Allah, Koholoyimla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. Jachanan the Waf just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And now I'm not sure if this is an actual real story. It may not be. I did see somebody in the comment board mention that this could be a fake story, but I mean, we do know that things like this happens. It says Chinese restaurant accused of stealing and cooking dozens of dogs. They have Michigan. It says a restaurant in the famous Chinatown was visited this morning by the police and federal agents after an investigation showed the owners regularly killed dogs they found in their neighborhood and served them to customers. Agents of both the Food and Safety Inspection Service and the USDA's Animal Plant Health Inspection Service. Let's see what else they got here. Okay. What's going on here? Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a real story, but it could be, though. I mean, we know that for a fact, these people are notorious for, eating things that are unlawful, and you better believe, because the scripture says to never trust thine enemy. So you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it's not wise to go to any of these restaurants, you ask me. I'd say just cook at home. I don't care if it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It can be a damn McDonald's to a local buffet. I don't give a shit. I'm not big on the going out and eating, amongst these heathen nations and these nations that hate the children of Israel, because they'll sell you anything. They don't have a problem with giving you anything. Because I used to always hear, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see straight nothing. Cats, dogs, pigeons, birds, none of that shit around the radius of a Chinese, so-called Chinese food restaurant. Now, I can remember that being, from back in the days. And then you kind of looking at, the meat like, okay, well, you're saying this is chicken, but this shit, what the hell is, and they packing down these big ass plates where they have to staple your shit shut. But anyway, now what I did do, though, once I seen this, because, I wanted to go off into it and kind of try and fact check. And what I found is that I didn't know that here in the Americas is this particular hookup right here says 44 states. Let me go back real quick. 44 states in America is basically, hey, it's still legal in 44 states to eat dogs and cats and shit. And I don't doubt that neither, because, America is, it's states here where bestiality is legal, things of that nature. So you can't put nothing past the kingdom of the so-called white man. Anything is capable. And, these the so-called Chinese people, when they come here, they're not regulated like that, because they just found, that the so-called Chinese people got like secret police stations and all kinds of shit in America. And not only in America, but other countries, too. So they're not being regulated like that, If you go to, when I lived in New York, you go to Chinatown, man, they got, that shit is like being in China for real. Like for real. There's no, I guess you have, Chinese nationalities, or, people they become police officers and all this other stuff, so they may translate, for the NYPD and all this other stuff. But I'm just saying, in general, just being in Chinatown, that shit is like a whole nother fucking world, man. But anyway, like I said, again, I ended up coming across this one. Okay, and it says, according to the Humane Society, only Virginia, California, Hawaii, New York, Georgia, and Michigan have laws that specifically prohibit the consumption of dogs and cats. And the specifics of those laws do much to help understand the vulgarities that have resulted in the remaining legal elsewhere. In New York State, it is expressly prohibited for any person to slaughter or butcher domestic domesticated dogs, canines, or domestic cats to create food, meat products for human or animal consumption, not covered or eating the meat or killing your pet, gerbil, hamster, etc. California, however, bans the consumption of any animal traditionally or commonly kept as a pet or a companion, which is at once stricter and even more vague. Pigs are, for instance, rather easily. Yeah, because you say, yeah, shit, you eating pork. You eating oink oink. Hell, you might as well be eating dog. You know? Okay, it says pigs are, for instance, rather easily and not infrequently domesticated. Bizarrely, Virginia has perhaps the most straightforward laws. It's illegal to kill an animal not used in farming activities. Related, whole dead packaged raccoons found in meat freezer in Los Angeles area market. So, you know, hey, it's people that eat, raccoons. And my dad, I don't know if he still do, but he ate raccoon. I can remember he used to cook one of them bitches for the Christmas holidays. So, you know, because they come from the South, people in Alabama, man, they'll eat roadkill. Or, I ain't gonna say all Alabamans, but, down South, they will eat certain foods that people in, cities really don't eat like that. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact. One simple explanation for why there is no federal law prohibiting the consumption of dog or cat meat is that it does not appear to be an especially widespread problem. While the New York Times reported in 1904 that minors were eating dog meat during times of food shortages. So, and I wanted to touch on that because that's what's going to happen eventually. It's going to be people that's going to, they're going to just, all that, the so-called white people with that dog loving, letting them tongue kiss them in the mouth and all that shit. When there's no food, that dog that they love so much and that they sleep with and do all these things with, they're gonna eventually eat those dogs, man. They're gonna eat those pets. As a matter of fact, let's get that in Matthew. And part of these last days prophecies, man, that's about to come to pass out here. I was just watching the Euro news, and because they show countries from all around the world, and there's a lot of famines, man, that's going on. It's going on over in Somalia. A couple of African nations, all types of different places. It's even in European nations, amongst the so-called white people. There's famines going on already. It's people dying from hunger, man. Matthew 24:3, it says, as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, or Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're hearing of wars, rumors of wars. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And I've been, like I said, I watched this Euro News channel, and man, it's these so-called white people, man, they going nuts all over the globe, coming up against their governments, man. And the scriptures talks about they won't regard their princes, their kings, and, their dignitaries or whatever, roughly paraphrasing in the Apocrypha. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. See that? And pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All this stuff has been going on. Now, it's been about a month since the earthquake happened over in Turkey, but shit, it got up to about 50,000, maybe 60,000 people supposedly had died, So you got a lot of that stuff is going on. So when the straight comes down to it, it's not going to be nothing for a person to cook a damn pet, man. This is not going to be nothing to cook. But when you look at videos, they got like over in, certain areas of China, and, man, they have festivals, man, where they're eating dog meat. You see the dogs, they got them all in damn cages, all rounded up, you know what I'm saying? Taking them till they burning the fur off of them, chopping the asses up on the spot, throwing them into a wok with some noodles, man, with some rice. And it's a delicacy to them over there, man. So let me get this though. I'm not gonna keep this long. Because there's a law or not eating animals that, that walk on all fours with paws. I think it is. Let's get the law. This is Leviticus 11:27. It says, and whatsoever goeth upon his paws, which is, of course, that's cats, dogs, raccoons. It's a lot of animals that go, along on their paws. Among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. Whosoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean unto you. So the Lord gave laws on this. And when the Lord gave these laws, when he gave us the law, statutes, and commandments, as a people, there was a law against it because there were people of the other nations that was doing this stuff. That's why the Lord, he said, don't do what the heathen of these nations, these other nations are doing. And a lot of these other nations, that goes to Africans. I mean, they into a whole bunch of shit. Them damn Hamites. These other nations, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they into some stuff that's just completely disgusting, man. Because the Lord, he only gave the law, statutes, and commandments to the children of Israel. So all those other 17 nations or so, hey, they was into, they still, to this very day. You can go to certain countries where they got their certain delicacies, man, that goes against the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, and really, in reality, like I said, shit, if you eat a pig, you'll eat a damn pork chop, some damn bacon, or the Lord said, hey, you're not supposed to, that shit is supposed to be an abomination to you. So it's nothing for, people to, look, this thing is about to go down where people are just going to be eating some of everything, man. They're just to survive. Just to survive, man. Hell, people going to be eating people. There's scriptures where, you know what I'm saying, Israelites were eating Israelites, man. Cooking up the babies, man. You know what I'm saying? I was with, I can't think, we had the one situation. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, okay, it's 2 Kings chapter 6, start at verse 24. It says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pence of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So they was eating pigeon shit, man. Horse heads, man. You know what I'm saying? And it says, as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor, or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled, see, it's cold, man. It says, so we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth with it upon his flesh. So that's how serious it was, and this is how serious it's gonna get. It's about to be all out, and Esau gonna come with that MOTB, because he's already securing. He's in control of the food, the water, the drink, and everything that you need, your essentials right now. So he can cause a worldwide famine, and then he can say, well, all right, well, we got what you need over here. Just come and bow down, basically, and take this thing. Let us put this wire in your ass. You know what I'm talking about, the Revelation 13:16. So we're about to roll into some bad times, man. And the sooner the better, too, man. Because we're really, ready to get the hell out of here, man. Esau, Edom's kingdom, it's just no type of nothing to this place, man. It's nothing to live for. But like I said, again, if this is true, and which I don't doubt it, Because like I said, Jake don't be paying no attention, man. Jake just look like, you know, look at all this food I'm getting. Because I'm telling you, Chinese food place, they will pack that shit down. I'm talking about to a point where they have to literally staple, you know, the damn container closed, man, because there's so much shit bulging in it. You can eat out of a damn one plate like 2-3 times, man. So they pack it down. Jake think they're getting a deal. They going to the Chinese food restaurant on you know, on a day-to-day basis, man. You know, even if, you know, the mothers is like, well, shit, I can feed damn near the whole family off just a you know, one meal. That's how much shit they'll pack into them containers. So they keeping the people coming back. It ain't no telling. Like I said again, man, you can't see, you can never see what they're cooking. You can never see in the back. And I you know, and I used to work at a mall in a food court area, whatever. I used to go to the food court area, and I would see them eating, but I'd never seen them eating no meat. They would always be sitting there eating rice and noodles and, you know, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I would never see them eat the meat that they was actually cooking up, you know, like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, because, you know, you have these ones that's here in the Americas. Hey, you know, they done kind of got Americanized. You know what I'm saying? So they eat the beef, chicken, and, you know, regular stuff like you go to the supermarket and get as far as Americans. And they probably couldn't, I don't put nothing past them. I just don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says never trust thine enemy. And those people are just as much as our enemies as the so-called white man. You know, because they're named off in that list of enemies in the book of Psalms, chapter 83. So I don't put nothing past these people, man. You know what I'm saying? I really, really don't. And I actually used to see, I used to be in the back elevators when they was getting shipments. And I used to see the meat that they were having coming in. And I was, you know, something just been, you know, that shit. I was just wondering, like, okay, you know, what the hell is that? So you never can tell with them, man, because, you know, they'll have their own stuff shipped in, you know, with their own, you know, with Chinese lettering. You can't read it really like that. Their own. I'm telling you, it's like they have a world of their own. They're not really regulated like that here in the Americas and nowhere else, man. That's one that, you know, because they got that, you know, a real strange language, so to speak. The average person is really not learning Cantonese and Chinese or whatever, you know, the language may be. A lot of people don't are not, you know, into that shit like that. It's, you know, so they kind of have a world of their own where basically, you see how they get down when you go to the nail shop. I know some of the women, you know, you see them, they be talking, you know, and all this other shit soon as you know, but they know English. You see what I'm saying? So they don't have any respect for Jake, just like none of these nations do. They don't have no respect for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. These people hate the Israelites. And that's why I say again, you know, scripture says never trust thine enemy. These people are not to be trusted. And I say it's not wise, you know, hey, just go, you know, we taking a chance going to a damn supermarket, just buying the meats that we buy at these supermarkets, man. You know, we pray, we make the best choice that we can. And shit, just you know, pray to Yahweh Shah for mercy, man, that whatever you're getting, man, is not going to kill your ass. It's not poisoned, you know. We know that we're in, you know, we're going to eat, you know, the scripture talks about, let me get that real quick. I end with this. Let's eat defiled bread amongst the Gentiles or our enemies. Ezekiel 4:13, and Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. So wherever we are as a people or a nation of people, you know, where we've been scattered to, we're getting the worst of everything. They're selling you meat from cancerous animals, you know, meats from animals that's done died of itself. You know, damn animal just die. They're not even butchering the animal. They just get up the next morning, the animal's dead. And hell, the motherfucking animal can possibly be dead a few days. And they'll still go ahead and grind his ass up and give you, you know, some, you know, they'll grind his ass right on up, man. Chop his ass right on up and have him in the supermarket for you, man. Wrapped up, looking fresh. They put dyes in it to try and make it look as if it's, you know, it's fresh. Because if you notice certain meats, they look kind of like, especially with, along with beef, it looks, kind of have that reddish color. But then once you get it to the house and you kind of cutting into it, you can clearly see that it's brown on the inside. So why isn't it looking, it looks fresh from the outside, but you can clearly see that the shit is not fresh all the way through. So I've experienced that. I've seen stuff like that because when it comes to certain meats, I boil it all. I'm not going to even fry it. I'm for real. I'm boiling every damn thing that comes from a supermarket. And then, I pour off the water through my sifter and I, rinse it down with really hot water, because you can see as you boiling it, you can see all kinds of shit bubbling up in the pot. Like, what the fuck is that? So I'm boiling out, I try and boil out as much of the blood and fat and all that stuff that may be in the meat. If I'm eating meat, I boil it all. I don't give a shit what it is. It's going in the boiler, baby. I boil the shit out of it, and then I put it under the faucet in the sink, in the sifter, and wash it down, so to speak, and rinse it. Because when when you seeing, and it's a difference, I've been doing that since I came in the truth. I never used to do anything like that before I came in the truth. This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is real powerful, man. It really is, like straight up, because since I've been in this truth, and one of my brothers, he came into the truth at the same time as I did. And trying to think I went over his house one time that, he was cooking dinner or whatever. So he knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? He, as far as like the unlawful meats. But I noticed that he made some chili. That's what it was. He made some chili. And I ended up eating some, and I could tell right off, like, okay, he just boiled down. I mean, he just fried down the meat with that blood and that fat in it. And there's a difference. Trust me, when you're going to see all that blood, when you say, for instance, you got ground chunk or something like that. I boil all that shit, man. Like, for real. I'm not having like a regular burger like that, or something like that. If I'm going to do a burger, I broil it and let all that shit drip off. But generally, I like to just boil the meat because, it just, to me, it gets rid of a lot of the contaminants, man, because you just never know with these people, man. We have to do our best because they don't care. Like I said, we're eating that defiled bread amongst our enemies, man, amongst the Gentiles, because they really don't care, and they can eat stuff, man, that won't bother them, that we just can't eat. And it bothers the shit out of us, man. We catch diseases from and that's all because the Lord gave us law, statutes, and commandments to follow. And if we don't, there's life and death in them scriptures. He says he placed life and death before us. So I just wanted to just touch on this, man. I know I was kind of all over the place, but that's the spirit, man. We flow in the spirit. Beautiful. We touched on the famine, which we know are coming. That's some of the last days prophecies. The fact that once those famines come, there are going to be a lot of people that's going to be eating all kinds of shit. It's going to be people eating people, man. If you watch that movie, The Road, and I just watched it recently. I've seen it a few times, but every time I watch it, I just watched it recently a few weeks back, and, you kind of get a little bit of a different perspective every single time. But, man, they was smashing people in that movie, man. That was the main meat. We talking about with no sides. They ain't had no sides, with no side of beans, no side of greens, no side of, I don't even think they weren't even seasoning a motherfucker, man. Like, they don't even think they was washing them down. So, hey, man, it's coming to a point where we living in these last days, and people just don't see these Americans. They're proud as hell. They can't fathom something like that happening in what's so-called the richest nation in the world. We're, these proud, I'm telling you. But it's going to come a time where they're going to be making a decision. Which one of the babies we going to eat today? You pregnant women, they going to hold you down so they can get breast milk from your ass. Then after you had that baby, they going to throw his little ass in a pot, him or her. Who knows, man? We know the script. We believe the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Now, when that's going to happen, we don't know exactly. But we can say that these things are close because we're watching the prophecies actually play out. And that's by the spirit, because we believe in the scriptures, man. But you got the average person. You tell the average person something like that, they be like, oh, man, that's not, no, nothing like that will happen in my lifetime, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on this for a hot sec. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashala.